is my first one at maxing out the mesh, the poly count. So I had this figurine that a friend asked me to do.
Oh yeah, I've seen this print.
Yeah, and it was actually one of the guys last month who showed his technique. And I think someone else on the channels also did the sort of Dublin bar, where it's made each.
That would have been Chad, I think.
Yeah, he made each asset its own model, so you could max out the count, and then he assembled it together in a master model. So I had the same idea with this one, so I actually went back and isolated each piece. So that's 1.9 million for the whole model. But this one, I then pushed it to 1.9 million just for the base, which is on the camera now. So that's the base. And then I went for the staff on its own, the raven on its own, the body on its own, and then just the head on its own, and then the back piece.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, and then that's how I put that all together in, here we go, in the slice. So
what would you say? I'm curious, this is a question for you and Chad. Even though Meshi 7 Ultra is so much higher detail than Meshi 6, do you think it's still worth doing a segmentation workflow for 3D printing? How much more detail do you get from it?
A lot, in my opinion.
A lot, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
well,
and I'll still do it all in pieces.
You'll still do it? Okay. Wow.
When you cram the more detail in, then you can go a smaller model and it still imparts the detail.
Yeah, I have 38 millimeter mini figs that you can see their fingernails.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a bit blurry, but I can definitely see the very fine detail. Very nice.
Over. So yeah, this sort of profile.
Oh.
So you can slot that vertical piece in. This one was actually, with this one, it was the first thing. Oh, where's she gone? There. So just that piece there, she think about there, that snapped off when I was trying to take it apart. So I did the old blowtorch technique. So what you do is, so give me your FDM anyway, it's because it heats and it bonds. So you heat it right up, it turns to liquid, and it cools and it bonds. So you can do that manually with a blowtorch. So if something snaps and you want to glue it back together, rather than using glue, you just heat up gently the piece of PLA, the temperature it melts out inside the printer, offer it up to it, and it rebonds.
It's even easier and arguably a lot cleaner to do a plastic weld with a soldering iron if you've got a variable temperature one.
Oh, I'll give that a go.
Yeah. So you don't need to go about 190 to 2, and you'll melt PLA quite cleanly and get a nice join.
I'll give that a go. I've got soldering iron. I haven't had a reason to use it. I bought it for metal inserts and I haven't had it. So you asked about the difference in the resolution. So this figure in purple is the original full height one. I'm going to turn that camera off for now. I'll just swap that back. No, excuse me. Stop the screen. See my LD. Yeah, so this one is the original size. So I brought it in for scale reference because obviously when you bring it in pieces, it comes into the full volume size. So it doesn't come in. So then you have to know what size do you scale it to make it go back to the original composition. So I knew that this composition is going to be 200 mil tall. I think the final composition, 225. She's a little bit taller. I messed around with a few things. You can see the detail or the lack of it. So here you're looking at the face and the crow. That's if I printed it as one. Printing it in the combined workflow.
Yeah, you can see every individual hair strand.
Yeah.
Even the raven's feathers.
Yeah. Whether it gets printed, probably not. But at least I know that the form is going to be tighter. And then it will blur the texture. The actual outline is going to be much crisper. You can see the difference here. I scaled up the scepter, and you can see the difference between the scepter and this in the same model, but I accepted it. If I was to go back and do it again, I'd look again at the scepter and do it a different way. I'm actually thinking going forward that anything that's a shaft like that, I'm going to swap out for a plastic rod instead and just print the head and just join them together because they always snap.
Then with your modifier that you showed me last time?
I tried that, still broke. So I went in last time. So this one is... So what I did is, so I knew the scepter was going to go to a different piece. So in the base, I did a Boolean and took the legs and the scepter away from the base. So on the base, you have this tiny little footprint for gluing and that hole to locate the base of the scepter in so it doesn't bend.
Yeah.
I do that with Blender If you do the head, go back to the head on your bottom left, just the head by itself on your first plate, bottom left plate.
That's the raven.
Oh, that's the raven. Are
And
you
I-
doing
well,
it
I-
cells?
I was feeling suicidal, so I tried to print her as a 32mm miniature. I tried it, and at the end, it went like a stick person who fell apart.
So when you did the head, did you do the head separate?
Yes. I actually should still have the head. Let's have a look.
Because your final piece, it's like the head has so much detail and then it really dives into her neck
Yeah.
area. But
Yeah.
if you was
because
to do the head shoulders, you could probably feather that in a little better and you'd get that,
I mean, that,
let's
yeah, I
call it
think that's what-
scarf
there,
section.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You talk about this. Yes, it's you, Chad. Sorry. Yeah. You showed this technique last episode. This was my last stitch attempt before I moved over to Blender. This was all done in the slicer, and I realize now I need to teach myself those two things you showed in Blender, and it'll just make my life a lot easier, because this was all done by positioning.
Yeah.
And
If
I
you
do
can do
well
that in a slicer, man, your skills are already there. You're wasting your time, man. Go to Blender and do it, and it's just going to be so much easier. Import the whole model the size you want it, already connected, and the details there. And the skills going from a slicer to Blender, you're going to feel like you just dropped 2 grades.
Oh,